As we involve ourselves with Relay, meeting survivors, and in some circumstance becoming survivors, we discover how each journey defines the person. And with us tonight is a survivor who has a very defined journey to share with us. I'd like to introduce Denny Andrews.
I was nervous. She said, I've got an introduction for you, and I almost didn't want to show up. I thought that was a great magic trick, so I think I want to try it again. Everybody take out a 20. No, I'm a cancer survivor. The hairstyle has nothing to do with my cancer, in case you're wondering. This was kind of, happened to be in my 20s and didn't really leave me a whole lot of options. As a matter of one time I was flying to Canada, and I was sitting on the plane and I was trying to think of an opening for a speech I was giving up there. And I'm going, okay, I know what's going to come to me. I'm just sitting there, I had nothing. And we took off, and it was, I don't know if you guys remember the storm a couple years back during December, the power was out. I missed that whole thing because I was in Canada. Oh, darn. But on the way up, we went right through the storm. And it was one of those prop planes, and we were flying to Canada. So we're just flying along, and I got my pen out and everything, and all of a sudden, just the pen flies out of my hand, the plane's bouncing. Flight attendant comes on and goes, "No one leave your seats, everyone stay strapped in." And she's gone. Well, that was reassuring. So the plane bounces again, and she comes back on again. She says, "There'll be no drink service this flight, and the bathrooms are now locked. Everyone stay in your seats." Gone again. Wow. She's really giving me a lot of confidence. The next thing she says is she comes on again and she says, "If you're starting to feel sick, find something that catches your eye that you can stare at. And just stare at it, and it will help you with your motion sickness." And I'm like, God, this is just terrible. And I've been bungee jumping. I've jumped out of, actually after I had cancer. It was, what the hell? I went and jumped out of an airplane. And so, being in this plane didn't really scare me a whole lot, but all of a sudden when she said, find something you can stare at, she goes away again for the last time, and the plane hit an air pocket and dropped 500 feet. And, I kind of got a little rush out of it. But the lady behind me, an elderly gal, she screamed like a lung was coming out of her mouth. And, it just scared her so bad. So I turned around, I was trying to be nice. I turned around and I said, "Look, don't worry, everything's going to be okay," even though I didn't know. But I said, "Everything will be all right." And she looks at me and she goes, "Turn back around." That doesn't pay to be a nice guy, right? So I'm like, "Okay, I was just trying to help." And she goes, No, I've been staring at the back of your head." I'm like, "There's my opening." So I opened to a room with like 300 people, and they just loved it. They thought it was great. I love doing these things because you guys have the best attitudes. How many survivors do we have here? Almost? Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
Raise that hand.
Congratulations. She just has 2 more chemo, right? And then you're done. That's fantastic. Well, I only have 1. But you guys are the leaders for this. And the money that you raise, I'll tell you my story. If you can stand and listen to me for that long. And the money you raise, I wouldn't be here right now if it wasn't for the money that's raised by what you guys do. And you guys here are the leaders to make this happen. I'm going to give you some tools that I work with businesses and help them use that I think will help you guys as you're building your teams. One of the things I have is I put together a thing on leadership, and you're not going to need to write any of this stuff down. Not that you feel like you might want to, but on my website's dennya.com. DENNYA.com, and under the, I think it's flyers or handouts or something. Anyway, this thing on leadership is in there, and basically it just goes through some of the attributes, some of the things you want to keep in mind when you're doing what you're doing. And I've got some other tools that I'll go through with you as far as I just went and saw Brian Tracy speak. Do you guys know who he is? I love to go see other speakers, especially of his caliber. And he said, there's one thing that you can all do to double your income right now. Of course, everybody in the crowd, and he was on the edge of their seats. Yeah, what's that? He said, every morning before you start your day, get 10 bone-jarring rejections. Get on the phone, call 10 people that can help you in whatever it is that you're doing, and keep calling. If someone offers to help or offers to buy something, that doesn't count. Keep calling until you get 10 bone-jarring rejections. And he said, I'm not talking about no thank you. I'm talking about your parents weren't married rejections. And I sat there and I thought about it, and he said, first of all, you're going to find out that as you do this, you're going to find when you have that kind of an attitude, instead of looking, you're calling to try to sell something, you're calling to have them reject you. He said, you're going to find out it's a lot easier to take rejections. And you guys are about to go through that while you're recruiting for your teams, while you're looking for donations. The more rejections that you can go through, the more successful you're going to be. And when he said that, I thought about it, and it didn't, it makes sense, but I was thinking, I'm not really looking forward to tomorrow morning anymore to get up and have to go through that. But it's just something that he said, once you do that in the morning, the rest of your day, it's like, somebody rejects you for something, it's almost like a slap on the back. You're just like, ha, it's just not a big deal. And those are I just thought that was brilliant. And he had some other stuff to say. He was really good. He told the joke when he opened. I don't usually use other people's jokes, but I really like this one. He said a guy's walking down the beach, and he kicked a bottle, right? The old genie joke. The bottle spins, he picks it up, starts rubbing it, and the genie jumps out. And he's on a beach in L.A., and the genie says, okay, you got one wish. And he says, why don't we get one? He goes, one wish. He said, all right, I want to go to Hawaii. And the genie's like, you only have one wish, you're in L.A., do you just want a ticket to Hawaii? He goes, no, I don't want a ticket. I want to drive to Hawaii. And the genie goes, what? He goes, I want a freeway from L.A. to Hawaii, and I want to drive to Hawaii. And the genie's like, oh, well, this was a little bit bigger wish than I expected. He's like, I don't think I can do this. He said, do you know how many pylons I'd have to put and how deep I'd have to go in the ocean to even do a one-lane freeway to Hawaii? There's no way I can do this. Do you have another wish? And the guy looks at him and he goes, well, all right. He says, I've been married for 22 years, and I'd like to be able to understand my wife. And the genie turns to him and goes, do you want one lane or two? Yeah, it was Brian's, but I just